Hello and welcome to Maltbox, the non-chill filtered whiskey blog. I'm Andy and this is Whiskey Review 113. And what this is a first part of a 4-part mini-series where I'm going to be looking at 4 different American whiskies. Now I've already given you a little bit of a sneak peek as to what they are on the Instagram. However, without further ado, the first one is this. Maker's Mark 46 Bourbon Whiskey. And there it is. Distilled in the heartland of Bourbon, Kentucky. Now, God, right, anyway, that was a bit of a trial and tribulation, wasn't it? So, Maker's Mark 46. As you can see, it adorns the same wax seal as its younger brother, the Maker's Mark standard release, and what I'd say is this is kind of the next step up from standard Maker's Mark. So this is actually bottled, whilst this is named Maker's Mark 46, it is not named after the percentage strength. It is actually bottled at 47%, which I think they missed a little bit of a trick there, but never mind. No, the 46 is actually named after the stave profile. So what they've done with this, so they start off with standard Maker's Mark that goes through the normal maturation process using fresh new barrels. Once that's been completed, they then remove the whiskey, and what they then do is they actually take another cask and replace some of the staves of that cask with French oak staves, and then leave it to mature for a little bit longer than the standard release. So by this point, the normal release would have been bottled, just taken out the cask, bottled, done, sorted. But what they actually do for the 46 is it goes through a second maturation in a different cask makeup. And the 46 was actually named after the 46th attempt. This is kind of the cracked it at 46. They went through various trials with different woods and cask makeups. And when it got to attempt 46, they feel that they've nailed it and they're like, yes, that's the one, that's what we're going to run with. So, obviously, given this is bourbon, this is natural colour. So it's nice, very atypical copper hue there, some nice legs slowly going down the glass. As always, my face auto-focuses through the glass, so apologies that you had to see that. Do apologise, nobody needs that, do they? Now this retails for around £40 here in the UK, however, realistically, you can find it cheaper. You can find it on sale quite often, for example, on Amazon at around £25 to £30 quite often. So, without further ado, on the nose. A lovely, lovely initial profile there. I'm getting a lot of cherry, and I love cherries. In addition to just cherries on their own or cherries in syrup, I'm actually going to get sort of like a cherry pie kind of thing going on because there's a little bit of vanilla, there's some brown sugar, a little bit of a pastry hint as well. Again, with that brown sugar, we're also looking at chocolate. There's a little bit of tobacco, loose leaf tobacco. I am an ex-smoker, and when I smoked, I used to smoke roll-up tobacco, so roll-up cigarettes, and to me it smells like cherry tobacco, funnily enough. As you can tell, a lot of cherries. There's almost a cola cube note in there. Now, when I say cola, I'm not talking Coca-Cola, not the drink. Over here in the UK, we have a confectionery sweet, little cubes called cola cubes, like hard-boiled sweet. There's some cinnamon. In fact, no, I think it's more nutmeg than cinnamon. Again, sort of richer, sweeter notes in line with that sugary and cherry initial hit that I spoke about earlier. However, I'm getting sort of like a butterscotch, toffee note now. And a lovely little wisp of black coffee towards the end. Now already this has got a really, really nice nose to it. There are some characteristics that tend to carry through in a lot of bourbons, given the nature of their maturation, given they all go through a very similar process. However, this has obviously been switched up a little bit. There are those kind of key notes of vanillas and chocolates and toffee and things like that. However, that lovely cherry sweetness is really, really nice, really charming. On the palate, oh, yeah. So first off, lovely mouthfeel, really rich, very oily, viscous palate experience there, coating a lot of areas of my mouth, all my gums, lips, you name it. And again, that cherry is there straight away. It's a good job I like cherries, really. And again, you've got more toffee. The coffee that I mentioned from the nose is getting quite prevalent for me on the finish. Now, I'm a big coffee drinker. I have an espresso every morning, and then I have another coffee in the afternoon, all freshly ground beans and things like that. So really, really nice to get that here. Really, really nice. Again, very rich, spicy. There's pastry notes in there, as in fresh pastries, cinnamon buns, cinnamon swirl pastries, for example. You've got that lovely, rich, brown, sugared, molasses kind of note as well. Quite drying, but that's more into the finish. Up front, it's so rich, it's so very, very viscous again. Lovely and sweet, but not overly sweet. For me, that cherry that I mentioned has got a nice tartness to it that kind of brings some of those sweeter notes back in and keeps them under control. It's a very, very well balanced dram, this really is. The finish again, getting a bit of coffee on there, some of the chocolate from the nose. There's a little bit more what I'd probably describe as wheatiness, some sort of like malty, oaty note on the finish now, just it's coming out, a little bit of creaminess as well. I mean, this is a fantastic bourbon, it really is, and it's widely accessible. As I say, Amazon, I mean, that's where I got this. It's bottled at 47%, I've already mentioned that, but for me, it's probably the right strength for it. I know I said that they missed a trick not doing it at 46%, given the name of the bottling. However, I think the 46, they've nailed it, absolutely nailed it at that strength. Does not need water. It is very, very smooth, and yet it's rich and it retains that lovely viscosity, which for me is very, very important. There are bourbons that aren't as smooth, they can be quite hot, particularly in the finish. This is not one of those. This is a very, very well made, affordable bourbon. Very, very good. Highly recommend, and really is a noticeable step up from standard Maker's Mark. And for me, it is worth the extra money to pick one of these up. I have thoroughly enjoyed drinking this bottle so far, and I'm actually going to be ordering another one. Now, if you did see the Instagram story, thank you very much for having a look at that. If you've not, just to let you know, I'm actually diversifying a little bit as well. So what I'm going to be doing as part of this 4-piece mini-series is for each whisky that I review. So first up, we've had the Maker's Mark 46. I'm actually going to be making a cocktail using that whisky. So it's going to be a separate video. It's going to be coming in a couple of days after I release this. And basically the one that I'm going to be doing featuring this is an old-fashioned, because for me, I like my old-fashions to have a bit more punch. I need something with a higher strength. Something like a 40% Buffalo Trace, for example, which is what we get here in the UK, it's only 40%. It doesn't quite pack enough punch for me once it gets watered down with that ice. So if you stay tuned, look out for the video. I will be making an old-fashioned with this. Again, just to mention the Instagram, I'm over there at Maltbox Whisky. I'm on Twitter at Maltbox. If you like what you've seen here today, guys, please feel free to subscribe. I won't beg you. If you like it, happy days. Thank you very much. And on that note, thank you very much for watching. See you soon.